Interest is paid from your taxes. You work, you earn money. The government takes a portion in taxes. That tax money goes to the Treasury. The Treasury uses it to pay interest to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve profits. And the member banks that own the Federal Reserve get their dividends. So money flows from your paycheck through the government to the Federal Reserve and ultimately to private banks. That's the wealth transfer. You work, banks profit. And the mechanism is the Federal Reserve's ability to create money and charge interest on it. This has been happening for over 100 years. Trillions of dollars have been transferred from taxpayers to the banking system through this mechanism. And it's perfectly legal because the banks wrote the law. Now here's the part that will truly blow your mind. The national debt can never be repaid, not because politicians are irresponsible, not because we spend too much, but because the monetary system is designed to require permanent debt. Let me explain the math. Every single dollar in existence was created by the Federal Reserve buying debt, mostly government debt. When the Fed buys a treasury bond, they create dollars. Those dollars enter circulation. That's how dollars are created, which means every dollar in existence represents debt that someone owes to the Federal Reserve. If you add up all the dollars in circulation, that number equals the total debt owed to the Federal Reserve. Now imagine the government decided to pay off the entire national debt. They would have to collect dollars through taxes or other revenue. They would take those dollars and give them back to the Federal Reserve to pay off the bonds. The Federal Reserve would receive the dollars and cancel the bonds. But here's the problem. When the Federal Reserve receives dollars in payment of debt, those dollars are destroyed. They disappear from the money supply. Because remember, dollars were created when the Fed bought the bonds. Paying off the bonds reverses the transaction. The dollars cease to exist. So if the government paid off the entire national debt, every dollar in circulation would be returned to the Fed and destroyed. The money supply would go to zero. There would be no money left in the economy, no dollars to pay workers, no dollars to buy goods, no dollars in bank accounts. The economy would collapse instantly. This is why the national debt has increased every single year since 1930. The money supply cannot decrease without causing economic collapse. As the economy grows, you need more money in circulation. The only way to create more money in this system is for the government to borrow more from the Federal Reserve, which creates more debt. The system is designed to require perpetually increasing debt. It's not a bug, it's the core feature. Question. If the Federal Reserve prints money out of thin air, who do they owe it to? The answer is no one. The Federal Reserve creates money from nothing. There is no lender, there is no creditor. They don't owe the money to anyone. They owe the money to the Federal Reserve. That's the trick. The Fed creates dollars by buying government bonds. When they buy a bond, they create the dollars to pay for it. The government receives the dollars, but the government now owes the Federal Reserve the principal plus interest.